Howdy, stranger. Welcome back, everyone. Here we are for build number 2 today. As I mentioned in the post, if you guys saw earlier, the post about this, that both the live builds we're doing today are both HG blue color. They're both blue colored HG kits. I can speak English. What do you mean? Yeah, they're both kind of blue themed. So, and yeah, it's, again, as I mentioned, it's rainy here in Korea today, so it's kind of fitting, I suppose, to do blue colored kits. But yeah, okay, I think that's looking fine, isn't it? Let me just want to make another little adjustment here, if we may. Over here, just want to change the focus a little bit. I don't know if that's better or worse or negligible, but I just wanted to adjust the focus a little bit. This sticker sheet is pretty massive for this kit, but there's not like the number of stickers is not that high. There's not a ton of them. It's just the size of them are quite large. So you just got like a couple for like the eyes, the head cameras that are pretty normal, and then all these other ones are just some really big stickers. So it's not necessarily that we have a lot of them. They're just covering some pretty large areas, unfortunately. But I think it's important to keep in mind what this kit is, and essentially what this kit is a continuation of the alt universe grunt suits like the Leo, the Maganak, the Death Army kits. And so like in keeping in line with those kits, those kits are all really simple, so you should expect this kit to be pretty simple as well. But I think these stickers aside, this kit is definitely of much better quality overall, I think, and better color separation than some of those kits like the Death Army and the Leo. I mean, they're really simple designs. This is certainly a more complex design, just like color-wise, I mean, design-wise. So they kind of had to step up a little bit for this one. But I think Bandai's done a good job of still, you know, like keeping this kit pretty simple, low price, you know, alt universe grunt suit, but at the same time they have done a pretty good job with the color separation and everything on it, I think. But that said, not good enough that you don't need any stickers, but you are still going to need some stickers, unfortunately. Brendan, you're coming in late and you're wondering if you should go back and watch the Earth rebuild or the Windam. We're building the Windam live now. I mean, stick to what's live. Watch this live now, and then go back and watch the Earth 3 live build later, since you missed that. You didn't miss that much. I mean, we didn't talk about like something like earth-shattering that you have to know or have to see right now. I didn't give any hints, or didn't give any revealing news as to any like upcoming releases or anything like that. Maybe I will. Do you guys want to know what the next master grade is going to be after the Wing Zero EW for Ka? I could tell you. No, I'm just kidding. I can't. I could. I can't. But I would like to. Sorry. I just can't. It just wouldn't be cool. That wouldn't be right. That's how could I steal Bandai's thunder and tell you guys before Bandai gets the chance to reveal it to you in an epic reveal? That just wouldn't be cool. Come on. Yeah, MG don't. Chris, dude, I was trying to like keep it a secret, and Chris just comes out and reveal it. Yeah, well, since Chris let the cat out of the bag, yeah, it's the MG Donut 2.0. Damn, dude. How are you gonna do me like that? Now, I will say, actually, I don't know if it is necessarily the next one right after the Wing Zero for Ka in November, but I do know what is kind of in line to be shortly after that. Will you have? You will have to buy a Bandai and take responsibility for it. What? Hey? Let's see. Yes, Llama, we know about the P Bandai option parts for the Barbatos coming out. We discussed that in the previous live stream. Nicholas wants a Mark V. Well, we had the... I mean, I would love a Mark V as well. We had the XS, we had the Deep Striker, so you know... Who knows? Maybe Bandai, someone at Bandai, I actually, this is not a maybe. I can say this, you know, just still as a guess, but I can say this with a pretty good certainty. I think that someone at Bandai is a Gundam Sentinel fan, someone high up at Bandai, because there's not really any particular reason for Bandai to be doing stuff like the 1.5 XS and the Deep Striker. I mean, they're pretty popular designs, but like there's so many more like other more popular stuff that I'm sure they could be making. I would say with a pretty good amount of certainty that probably just someone high enough up at Bandai is a Gundam Sentinel fan. That's why. Yeah, and then like the Phas Verka and everything too, so for something that's like it doesn't have an anime series or anything, and it's probably like those designs are like well enough known like in the fandom, but like a lot of times with like big new products, what Bandai wants to do is to make it appealing for people who are even like also pretty new to Gunpla as well. So like something that's, even if they're pretty new, something that's pretty recognizable. It's like someone's pretty new to Gunpla, they're not going to know what the Deep Striker is. How could they? They wouldn't know unless they've done like tons of, not tons I guess, but they would have had to do like some serious digging around to be familiar with what the Deep Striker is or what the Phas is. It's not something like the Wing Zero Verka. It's pretty recognizable, even if you've never seen Wing or something. It's a super popular design. So, yeah. Anyway, still waiting for the MG Hummingbird. Yeah, Gail, I could get down with that too. MG Hummingbird would be awesome. Imagine if they did like a Master Grade Mark V and then a RE100 Hummingbird, like to kind of go along with it. But it seems kind of a waste to make an RE100 Hummingbird because they've already got like a lot of the parts they would need in Master Grade. So seems like Master Grade would be just kind of the way to go. But I mean, that's getting a little bit obscure to put out as a big expensive Master Grade. So I'm not sure if they would go for that, but something cheaper to develop like an RE100 kit would probably make more sense. But at the same time, like I said, they've already got at least part of the development cost already done in the parts that they could reuse from the XS Gundam or the Deep Striker. So I don't know, we'll see. Any sort of kit of the Hummingbird would be dope. What they should do is make a new version of the HG XS, and then then also make an HG Hummingbird would be pretty cool. What's this you're talking about here? Sorovan Zero. Which one though? There's two versions of Gump. What are you talking about, Gump? What is this? Now that we have the Verka Double Zeta. What do you think they'd make a P Bandai Gump? What's Gump? What are you talking about? What is that? Now that we have the Verka Double Zeta. What is Gump? I don't know what that is. Well, I don't know what you're referring to. Is that, should I know what that is? I'd love to see perfect grade gyms. Yeah, probably not going to happen on that one, I would have to say. Gump is the original Double Zeta in the Crossbone manga. Ah, is that the one that Josh and I were just looking at the other day? In the video with Josh, just what was that? Just yesterday, or was that yesterday, or was that last week's episode? Maybe it was. I think it was last week's. Wow, that's some bad memory. I can't remember if it was yesterday or a week ago. We were looking at. I think it was last week. Yeah, it was in last week's episode. The version of the Double Zeta Gundam that was like the that version you guys were talking about. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Don't look up Gump. Yeah, I wasn't gonna check on that, but I was sure that one of you guys could clear it up for me without me having to check on it. Anyway, it's that like kind of like all white version of the Double Zeta, right? That's what you mean? Because yeah, assuming that's what you're talking about, then yeah, we saw that in last week's episode of Plama no Trend with Josh and I. I didn't know that it had the nickname of Gump though. Let's get these cameras together. I will say the detail on this is really nice though, because like the detail here on the head, the Vulcans like on the side of the face, then the detail around the inside of the head. It's gonna be really hard to show you guys. I'll try to show you really super close in detail in the review if I can, but like, you know, inside. Do I have a piece of paper here? I could draw it. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Inside this space here for like the head camera, usually it's just like the indented space and then it's just flat. It was where you place the sticker, you know, for like the head camera. But this one, like, it's got the inner walls and then it's not just flat detail in the center, but there is like a little raised edge like going around the camera section on the inside of here. So it's actually a really nice little detail. A little bit of detail in there for that head camera. It's not just a small little flat surface in there like you typically see on the HG kit. So that's pretty cool. And same thing on the back camera as well, which is tiny, but it's got the same kind of detail there as well too. And this tiny little sticker to go in there like that. Okay. And also, well, I guess you'll have some seam line here. But the way that this is made is that you don't have any seam line on the top part of the head because it's like a different level, the front and back parts. But I guess here on the side of the face, that could be a seam line there that you could maybe try to get rid of. But, I mean, the face this is all supposed to be all one color anyway. So it's not like gluing these parts. You would have too much trouble with painting the eye visor part separately. So it's cool. I love the V-fin for this crazy long V-fin. For this, I think I said earlier when this kit was like first announced, but when this kit was first announced, I didn't really recognize what it was from. And like, I've seen Seed Destiny ages ago, but I didn't really remember this suit. But considering that I didn't really remember this suit, I actually really quite liked the design. So I don't know, maybe just at the time, I suppose probably at that time when I watched Seed Destiny, I just wasn't really too into the design of this, or I just didn't really think much of it. But now that we actually got this nice new kit of it, I actually quite like the design. It's certainly growing on me. The head's pretty cool there, and the body. And yeah, like I said, the color separation is quite good. I think the color separation is probably like as good as the Destiny, which I have down here. Because it's similar, the torso design is very similar to the Destiny, actually. And if you look side by side, I mean, it's got the separate part for the chest vents and the separate part that wraps around the side of the torso. And this one actually has a separate part for the cockpit hatch in there as well. So, I mean, the color separation, at least just for the torso itself, is just as good. Well, it's got an extra little part here on the top, the Destiny does, but Destiny's got one little extra part there on the top. This one's got an extra little part here on the front. Same. I mean, it's pretty good. Llama asking, why do people call Gundams Transformers? Probably because they're not familiar with Gundam, and the only like big robots that they're familiar with are Transformers. That'd be my guess. Give me that Nuke Windam version. Yeah. There was different versions of the Windam, right? So we'll have to see. I'm sure Bandai will probably put out some other different version, at least one other different version as some other P Bandai kit. Well, we do have the P Bandai Eldora Windam coming out, right? But I mean like an actual canon variation from Seed Destiny. I mean, right? I would have to look. Again, I just don't remember anything about Seed Destiny really. So I would have to check, but I would imagine there's probably multiple kind of similar variants of this kit, like the Nuke carrying version. Yeah, I'll have to agree with Ariano commented there. I rarely see people call Gundams Transformers. Yeah, I don't know if that's like a real thing that actually happens sometimes, or if it's just kind of a meme. I see people saying that, or like in like comments or on Facebook or something, like someone commenting something like, oh, why do people always call it Transformers? Or anytime I show anyone my Gundams, they say it looks like Transformers and stuff. I don't know, does that actually happen? Or because I've never experienced that, and like anyone that I've like really talked to about that has never experienced either, but people always say that it happens. So does it really actually happen that much, or is it just like a meme? I wonder. I've had a bunch of people call them Transformers. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Justin wondering why people type in all caps. I haven't mentioned it in this particular live stream, but I've mentioned it usually when I do any live streaming. I'll remind you guys to type in all caps if you have a question, particularly for me, when I look up at the chat. So, yeah. Just a reminder, if you guys do want to ask a question, just put it in all caps so that I can see it more easily there, or you can just tag me. Just tag me in the comment, and then I can see that as well. But yes, to answer your question, Justin, why people are typing in all caps, I would imagine that's probably the reason. Either that, or they're just very excited. But if they're frequent live stream viewers, it's probably because they're trying to get my attention to read their question. So, I like the way the arm goes together. No, oh well, yeah, kind of a seam line here too. The way that it's made though, it's kind of like, seems like a very intentional seam line though. Here on like this wrist section there. But the rest of the arm doesn't. And the shoulder doesn't have any seam lines here, and also some nice color separation with this little blue part. I mean, they could have very easily made this little like secondary blue color. They could have just made that as just a sticker there, but the fact that it's a separate piece that goes inside there for that little color detail is nice. You got the vent out the side of the shoulder, which looks nice on there as a separate piece as well. So again, just a lot of praise for this kit. I think it's well deserved. Except that I put that on there wrong. That's supposed to be that way. And this one here. And again, I think still just considering the price. Now the shoulder, I don't like this type of shoulder connection. And it's kind of more common in older style HGs, but even in newer style HGs, you still see this as something that Bandai sometimes does, making the whole shoulder armor connect directly into the chest without this actual ball joint piece being like a separate piece that can move. It's just solid connected to the shoulder armor. That usually means less articulation for the arms, but as you can see, I mean, it can still raise his arm up pretty high despite that, so it's kind of okay in this case. And then you've got the shoulder polycap joint, which will swing out to the front, but also it seems kind of tight in there, so pulling that out to the front seems like I'm equally likely to just pull the arm out the socket. But anyway, it's got that little bit of articulation there as well. So anyway, loving the rabbit ears on this. Ferris, Falzen, do a turn red Sengoku Astray turn you on? No. I've heard that Bandai are using some lubricant on their joints. Can you see it on the MG Barbatos? No. I don't think they put any lubricant on any of their parts. Nope. Oops, sorry for banging the camera there. Uh-huh. Sorry you made a debate in the comment section. I don't know. Did you make a debate in the comment section? I didn't notice. So, don't worry about it. They only use lubricants just... Hasaki. Do you want me to call you Hasaki, or do you want me to call you Hendren? What do you prefer? Actually, I don't know, but I see you there with that joke. I wonder if you can use the strike packs from the RG line with this kit. I think so, actually. Hang on. There was something in the manual about that, so let me check. I remember seeing that. Let me just get this put together. Fortunately, it's my call. Well, I'll just stick with Hasaki just because it's easier for me, just in the sense that I'm just reading it off there. Don't have to actually think, I can just read, you know what I mean? But yes, backpacks, I'm trying not to forget. Just get this put together and let's check on those backpacks, shall we? So, there you go. Bing bang boom. Yeah, in the manual there was something about the backpacks. I think, wasn't there? I thought I remember seeing that in here. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. What would that have been? I thought I remember seeing something. Maybe I'm mistaken or I'm not seeing it, but I thought there was something about that. But here in the menu anyway, I mean, you can see how what the backpack connection is like. It's just like the one single peg there. So I'm not sure what they look like, what the RG backpacks look like, for example, what different HG backpacks look like. But there you go. Huh? You can only use old HGC backpack with this. Oh, that's good to know. Prio, thanks for clearing that up for us. According to him, he said you can use older HGC backpacks with this. Have I ever watched Dragonair? No, I have not. Yes, this HG does look pretty cool, indeed. think for the rest of this, I think I can kind of just get by without using the manual. At least for this section. We'll see how the legs go, but seems simple enough. Here for the waist. Got that there. That and beam saber handles seem to be connected on there pretty well. They don't seem like they're gonna fall off too easily, but the connection is not a huge connection there for those beam saber handles, so we'll have to see if they'll stay on there pretty well. But for the time being, he's looking pretty dope, I gotta say. Google Dragonair and see how the Windam have the same silhouette. Okay. I will. Dragonair. It's just gonna come up as the Pokemon, isn't it? Do I have to search like Dragonair anime? Yeah, it's just all Pokemon. What can I? Oh, Dragon R. Sorry. Metal Armor Dragonar. Okay, I'm looking here. I'm just seeing a bunch of anime characters and a couple of mechs that I can't really see very clearly. But based on what I can see here, let me see. Is there any mecha? Am I getting the Eldora Windam? No, I don't plan on getting the Eldora Windam. Metal Armor Dragonar. Here we are. Oh, there's some more mechs that I can see. Yeah, I mean, I can see some similarities to some stuff. I wonder if the mecha designer for this series also worked on any Gundam series. Oh, I suppose this is probably the one you're talking about here. For everyone else to know. Well, it's very bright. Sorry, you can't really see that, but yeah, I mean, I can see some similarities there. I mean, the feet are very similar. The head has a similar kind of look with the really huge V-fin. The shoulders are sort of similarly shaped, kind of. I mean, and it's got the wings, of course, so yeah, I can see some similarities there. Sure. It's not like a one-to-one, but now, yes, the question that I would like to have answered immediately is, did the mecha designer for that series also work on any Gundam series? Gundam Seed Destiny, for example, or not? Is it raining? Yes, Mike, it is raining. Can you hear the rain? Yes. The door is closed, but it's kind of cracked over there, so you could very well still be hearing the rain sound a little bit. Alright. Last question before I go. Have I played Titanfall? No, I have not played a Titanfall. Oh, Kunio Okiwara was the mech designer for Dragonair. Okay, well, yeah, he's worked on plenty of Gundam stuff then. That makes sense. Did he work on Gundam Seed, though? Or Seed Destiny? I don't think so, right? I don't believe so. Speedball Hurl, what's with that? Hey, you see Gundam? Is that a reference to us? Okay, you know you're talking to someone that's with the name UC Gundam. Okay, sorry. According to Wikipedia, he did. Oh, he did also do some of the design work for mechas and Seed Destiny. Oh, he did. I said Asablade. Oh, okay. There you go. Well, there you have it. That's why they look similar. He drew the designs for MSV Gundam Seed as well too. Some Chinese dude says. Okay. Okay. For kits that you'll be painting, but you did a live build for it, do you cut and modify the pegs for easier disassembly? Gary or Jerry? I always get confused when it's spelled with a G. I usually don't cut the pegs for easier disassembly. I know that's a trick that a lot of people know about and many people use, and it is helpful to use. I don't find myself often doing that though, not for any particular reason, not like I don't want to. It's either just like I just usually just forget, don't think to do that, because I don't often have too much trouble getting pieces to come apart even without cutting the pegs on them, so I just don't really ever bother with it too much, I think. But sometimes I will do it like later on, like once I'm in the disassembly process and like getting ready for painting. If I know it's a piece that I'm gonna have to put together and take apart maybe 1 or 2 more times, and it was a super tight connection to get apart once, then I'll cut the pegs so that it'll be easier to take apart next time. But usually just in like my initial assembly like this, and then getting ready to paint it, 99% of the time I'm not cutting any of the pegs for easier disassembly, because I'm just finding that everything goes together fine. It comes apart fine, well enough, without having to do that. But you know, you can do that if you want. Some Chinese dude, my thoughts on the MGEX. We talked about that in last stream, and I talked about that, or I answered that question like 5 times last week as well. So I won't get into it again, but just the quick and easy answer is just I don't have any thoughts on the MGX because I don't know anything about it. So just like all you guys, I'm just waiting to hear more about it. We'll see. My assumption is that it's just something with some cool new technology to it. So like I said I wasn't going to talk about it, and now I'm talking about it, but something like a 2.0 unicorn or something like that with a much better transformation technology, something like that, something along those lines. So there was that hint, rumor over the weekend, I think it was, that that's what the new kit is going to be, in fact, some new sort of unicorn kit or something. I think that makes sense to me. I don't know for sure, but that would make sense, something along those lines. I would guess it's something like that. Not that it's gonna be like anything else, like a MG Kshatriya or something like that. There's no reason that they would make that as an MG EX. There's nothing EX about that, and it's big. But Bandai's made other big MGs before. Alright. Thoughts on the MG Strike Rogue Otori? Don't really have any thoughts on that. But I do really like the leg design on this. It's got a little bit too much backwards bend for me. Like this part kind of goes a little bit too back in the design, I think, a little bit. But in general, I like the design of the leg on this, and like the different foot shape here. It's got a little bit of that kind of 3-toed sort of shape, not toes, but the back is like split a little bit. It's a pretty cool design leg, I think. I don't know. Oh no, the head came off. Alright. Wish Bandai released more Mega Size. I want a Mega Size Strike Gundam. Revan, I agree that I wish Bandai would make more Mega Size kits. A Mega Size Strike Gundam wouldn't necessarily be on my list though, but any sort of other, like, there's a lot of cool stuff that I think Bandai could make some, like, a cool Mega Size kit. So yeah, I would like to see something more. That's the kind of line that I think, you know, it could feel dead. I thought, and probably most people, I would assume, kind of just thought that the Mega Size line was just kind of dead, and then the Mega Size Unicorn announcement just came out of nowhere. So, you know, who knows? It's been a while since the Mega Size Unicorn came out. Maybe they're working on another Mega Size. I mean, everyone was kind of expecting a Mega Size Banshee to come out, and it's so far no word on that. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a Mega Size Banshee out at some point. Seems like that would make sense, right? But I don't know. What else would I really like to see as a Mega Size? It's got to be something that's like simple enough that Bandai can make it as a Mega Size without it being like too crazy expensive. So like, if you were to say, oh well, they made a Mega Size Unicorn, so how about a Mega Size Shinanju? I think that's very, very, very unlikely. Because Shinanju, I mean, the Unicorn is kind of complicated in its design just because it's using the Psycho Frame, but when you think about it, I mean, it's not that complicated. I think like the amount of parts that you would need to make a Mega Size Shinanju would be significantly more parts, so I think that's probably unlikely. It would be just too expensive. But I don't know. What could they make as a cool Mega Size? I mean, since they've made a Mega Size Zaku, if they made something else like a Mega Size Dom or a Mega Size Gelgoog or something like that, would be cool, but I also think that's just probably not likely. Just because they have, like, the Zaku, so, like Zaku 2, is to be specific, is so iconic, where like some of the other ones are like equally famous, but maybe just don't quite, they're not quite as iconic. I don't know. Oops. So, indeed. Mega Size Kshatriya, yeah, like, that's just silly. It's just not gonna happen. Would you guys have any other guesses? Like, real guesses, not joke guesses that you think? Because I don't know, I'm not really coming up with anything that really comes to mind what I think would be a good candidate, or like a good likely candidate for a Mega Size. I mean, we can all wish for certain things or joke about certain things, but I mean, what do you think is like an actual, like, sensible guess as to what would like make sense that Bandai would make as a Mega Size kit? Mega Size Gym? Yeah, I don't know. The Gym as well. I think, like, obviously it's a classic design, but I just don't think it'd be like universally popular enough for them to do that. A Mark II, maybe, yeah. The Mark II or a Zeta Gundam, actually, yeah. Like a Mega Size Zeta, I think is more possible. A Mark II, something like that. Hakushiki, maybe. A Strike, as much as I said I wouldn't really like that, but I think a Strike is a good guess as well. Mega Size, like a Mega Size Ale Strike, something like that. I think just to do like just the plain Strike by itself, like with the perfect grade, I think a lot of people don't really like that about the perfect grade. They don't like that it's just the Gundam without any backpack stuff. So I think probably if they were gonna make a Mega Size, they would probably make it with the Ale Strike backpack, I would assume. Exia, yeah, an Exia. That's a good guess as well too. Mega Size Exia. A Mega Size style build of the Evangelion? I don't know. Because I mean, like, they did the Mazinger with, it doesn't have the Mega Size name, but it's basically a Mega Size. So then for them to do something like that, of like an Eva kit, maybe? I mean, the scale would be different, obviously. They couldn't make a 1/48 scale. Eva kit would be gigantic. Mega Size Wing TV version? Possible. Like, I'd say probably like Ale Strike, Exia, Zeta, something like this is probably most likely. Mega Size Alex? I don't think so. It took them forever to make a 2.0 of that. And even still, even at that point, I don't know how popular really the Alex necessarily is to compare to some of those other ones. Mega Size Mega Man. There you go. Alright. So I don't think I missed any other stickers for the body or the waist section or anything, right? So pretty much all the stickers go on the backpack for the most part. You just have a couple on the head, and everything else is just on the backpack. Or the weapons, anyway. On the shield, is there anything on the shield? Yeah, there is. There's one here on the shield as well. I really like the shield design for this as well. It's a cool design. You got a lot of detail to paint in with these like little missiles on the back there that are obviously just molded in just white. Mega Size Pikachu, Mega Size X-Wing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys are talking about other non-Gundam things, but I don't know how likely that stuff would be. Doing like some sort of like, okay, that's an interesting idea though. I don't think that they would do any sort of Mega Size Pokemon kit. So I think their Pokemon kits that Bandai makes are probably popular enough like with kids, but to make a Mega Size kit of that, I don't think that that's probably very likely. But doing some sort of Mega Size kit of like something from Star Wars, I think maybe makes a little bit more sense. Maybe sounds a little bit more believable. But what do you guys think it would be if they were to make that? It'd probably be like a Mega Size like R2-D2 kit or something like that. They already have the 1/2 scale BB-8, which is kind of that's kind of like a Mega Size kit right there. So if they were to make something like that, I don't know if they would be, if it, 1/2 scale R2-D2 would be pretty large. I think they would have to make it a little bit smaller than that. 1/3 or 1/4 scale, something like that. Like a 1/4 scale R2-D2 would be pretty good size, I guess. But what else could they make as like some sort of like Mega Size thing from Star Wars? Like yeah, something like an X-Wing. Maybe, yeah. It's basically something that's like big size, but not that complicated to build. It's like big, nicely detailed, but like a pretty low part count. You know what I mean? It's interesting to think about because it's an interesting line. I quite like Mega Size kits, even though they take forever to actually work on. I still think they're a lot of fun. What the hell? What? What? How's that work? Ah, okay. So Okay. Mega size God Gundam. Mega size cage for the unicorn? That's a mad lad idea that I could get behind. Is this part supposed to wrap around the edge of that or not? I'm gonna say not. And for those of you guys who were watching the live stream last week, I think I talked about this during the live stream build of the Curios last week. Because I think that was the only thing that I live built last week was the Curios, right? At that time I talked about how I was watching the 100, the TV series, and I think someone said that it's a CW series. Just to fill you guys in on my progress on watching that series, I'm now into season 2 of that, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it's getting better, because basically my thoughts that I shared about the series last week kind of pretty much still hold true. That the story is interesting and like what's happening is interesting, but like the writing and the acting is still not very good. Still pretty bad in general, but the actual story is pretty interesting. So, have any of you guys watched it? I mean, I would ask, do you guys think I should I keep watching it? But I actually don't really care about your opinions on that. I'm probably just gonna keep watching it until it's not interesting for me anymore. But for the time being, it's still interesting, so I'm gonna keep watching it. But anyone else seen it? Just curious. Anyone else's thoughts about it? What do you guys think? Did you watch it? Have you met Finn yet in the one? He's like in the first episode, wasn't he? Or like second episode? I'm in season 2. So yeah, I've met Finn a long time ago. I don't care for the CW. Their shows are garbage. Yeah, I don't really watch any shows at all. So it's pretty rare for me to watch anything. But if someone would have told me like from the start that it's a CW show, I might not have even started watching it, because I didn't know that it was at the start. I didn't know until like last week when I was talking about it during the live stream when someone said that. I didn't know whether it was a Netflix series or not. I just kind of assumed that how bad like the acting was, that it was maybe not a Netflix series. But yeah, if I knew that it was a CW series like before, I may not have even started it. I may have just thought like, oof, no thanks. But I mean, like I said, as bad as the acting and the writing is so far, I mean, the story is interesting enough for me. It's just kind of up my alley of the kind of typical genre that is interesting to me. Kind of sci-fi, post-apocalypse stuff. There's things that I definitely have been disappointed about though. Like for example, in like the first couple episodes, this isn't spoiling anything for anyone, I'm sure, so it's fine. But the first couple episodes, when they were first on Earth, and they were running into like some different like wildlife, like a snake, like a giant snake, and then like a weird two-headed deer. That was interesting, and then we've never seen anything else since. I think like in they also ran into like some big like panther kind of thing, and they've mentioned about like hunting, and like they were hunting some boar or something like that, but the whole kind of thing of mutated animals, like what do I want to say, like nuclear fallout mutated animals, that whole aspect of the show just disappeared after the first couple episodes. I was disappointed about that, because I also among like my favorite genres for things, like I also do really like monster movies and stuff like that, or like monster animal movies, like Jaws, like for example, like along those lines. So I was sad that that aspect of the show went away and doesn't appear to be coming back. But I'm in, like I said, I'm in season 2 now, where it's getting to where they're at the mountain base. What's it called? Mount something. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking about this show and no one cares. So sorry. Yeah, there's maybe a couple of you who maybe know what I'm talking about. So I'll wrap it up on that. But I've been enjoying it enough to keep watching it for this when I can, or the past few days. If you ever get back into gaming, check out Fallout 4. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like similar kind of thing, right? Same genre, same vibe. So yeah, pretty much all of the big stickers for this are just all going here on the wings. That one's not quite right. Try that again. There you go. Probably ran up the budget. Reiji commenting about the use of animals in the show, like I was talking about, probably ran up the budget. Yeah, that's a good guess. I thought about that too. I thought maybe like the CG cost for putting different animals into it like that was maybe expensive. That's a good guess, I'd say. And these parts are the same, but the sticker is different for some reason. I don't think it really matters too much, but let's see. We want sticker 6 here, going on this side. What show am I talking about? Crazy Cookie. They're on Twitch. I'm talking about the 100. It's a CU show apparently, but I've been watching it on Netflix here in Korea. I don't know if there's like maybe you can like watch CU on TV here in Korea. I don't know. I don't watch TV here, but I do have Netflix, and the selection here on Netflix is different from what you guys have like in the US or in different countries. The different things that they have in movies and shows and stuff is different. But I had just been watching that. Speak some Korean, please. Daniel, what do you give me? What's in it for me if I speak some Korean? My Korean doesn't come for free. Everything costs a little bit. And I like that the rain is making it kind of cool today. Not with a VPN, all the Netflix. Yeah, I should have just used a VPN, but kind of lazy. That would actually require me to like go to a website and sign up for something, so, or like do something. Yeah. Mike Jones, hello, Shoreline, Washington. How's it going, buddy? You're coming in right towards the end of the streaming for today. Sorry to say. You got a super chat for some Korean speaking, yeah. If you super chat something, I'll speak some Korean. No, I don't know. Like, I can only assume that this applies to like to everyone, but So this is why I don't ask this of people. But like when someone like speaks another language, when you say like, if you were to say to your friend or whatever, like, hey, speak some German. Like putting someone on the spot to speak another language is just really, it's not like uncomfortable, but it's like, what do you want to say? Like if I, you know, if someone, obviously I can speak English to some degree. If someone just told me like, hey, speak some English, like, okay, what? It's just kind of a weird thing to ask, like, no offense. It's just awkward. Just say why in said language. Just say why. Saying why in Korean, like if someone says, hey, speak some Korean, and saying why is just way. So it'd be kind of, I think everyone would just be confused at that point. So if someone said, hey, speak Korean, I just said, way. I don't know. Is it like, because it's not something very obviously Korean sounding of a word. Someone might just be like really confused as to what I'm talking about. That's a wrap on the Windam. We just need to finish. Got the shield connection part here. Got the rifle, which I like the size of this rifle. It's a pretty sizable beam rifle. A lot of stuff from Seed and Seed Destiny, I don't like the rifle designs for a lot of them. And this one is very similar in its design to like the Force Impulse or like the Destiny. All they have kind of similar rifle designs and quite ugly in my opinion. This one's kind of similar, but it's a little bit larger, a little bit longer, so I kind of like it a little bit more for that. But this secondary handle on here doesn't move at all. It's just a fixed part, so that's kind of unfortunate. But that's just there, like that. But I gotta say, this is a pretty cool kit for sure. For it being a pretty cheap, pretty simple kit, the main body is pretty good. You don't really have a whole lot in the way of seam lines on there either. The color separation is pretty good. Like here on the knee, that's a separate gray part. Here on the inside of the leg, there's a separate blue part. Those parts could have very easily just been stickers if this kit would have come out, you know, years ago. And then up on the shoulders, as I mentioned before, that blue part there could have easily just been a sticker, but you have some nice color separation for those bits. Seam line on the legs, does it really have, yeah, you have a little bit of seam line here. I guess like on the back of the leg, you have some seam line there. You have a little bit of seam line on the side of like the wrist part, kind of. And a little bit on the side of the head. But, you know, seam line's not too bad on this kit. And it's got some stickers on the backpack, but the backpack design is still pretty cool. Quite like that. Overall, I gotta say, pretty happy with this kit. It's not like, just in terms of its like technical construction, it's not the best HG that I've ever built. But it's not bad at all. It's pretty cool. So I like it. What do you guys think? I'm gonna work on the review this afternoon. Now it's lunchtime here, so I'll maybe get something to eat first. Work on the reviews for you guys. Then tomorrow morning, I'll have an interview with the one and only Mike Rinaldi. I've interviewed him before, but if you guys have never seen that interview, you can go back and watch it in the meantime. But I'll be speaking with him again tomorrow morning. If you're in the US, that'll be Thursday evening for you guys. And then be working some more on the Resin God Gundam kit. So I've got one work in progress. The next work in progress for that is actually all recorded. Just need to edit that, and then I'll be working on that some more. And then probably next week I'll be starting the painting on that kit. So there you go. It's coming along pretty well. Thank you guys for hanging out, watching this guy being built. I can highly recommend it to you. What did it cost? I forget the list price for this kit, but yeah, it's not that expensive. I would definitely recommend picking up one or two. Even if you're not that big of a fan of like the kit in full, there's a lot of potential here for good scratch building pieces, like just the skirt section or the torso section, the head. I mean, even if you broke it down into different sections, I think the different sections make really good parts for just kit bashing. It's pretty cool. So, all right, thanks guys. I don't know what I'll be live stream building next week. I'll have to think about that, but I'll let you all know. Oh, I keep forgetting to mention this, but it's G season. It was like the kind of hashtag that I wanted to start and share for a theme for this month and next month. Different like G related stuff. I keep forgetting to mention it. It's my thing that I started, and I kind of have totally forgot about it. But so we should do some G Gundam theme stuff next week. Probably the Master Grade Spiegel and the High Grade Nobel Berserker mode. That's a good idea. I'll live stream build both of those kits next week. That sound good to everyone? Okay, thank you very much. G season. I'll see you guys then. Have a good weekend. Or no, not the weekend yet. I'll see you tomorrow.